are here with Queer Eye and food and wine expert and our dear friend, Antoni Porowski. And the host of his brand new show that is so magnanimous, No Taste Like Home, where you take people on journeys of their life, their ancestry, their history, usually leading to the lens of food through family and life. It's just an incredible work of art.
I cannot wait to see this.
So human.
Yes.
And, you know, I was watching the Florence Pugh episode last night, and you are revealing her heritage, family members that she didn't know she had. I don't want to give anything away, but there's a namesake that really blows her away. There is finding out that there was someone who went through very difficult times and at a place that she's walked past in her life, her whole life. And then that person transcended into an occupation that makes so much sense for her whole family of why they are. But it's like you're learning about your history in real time. It's wild to watch.
I mean, especially with Florence, like, I'm going to spoil it because I think it still bears watching the episode. She learned that she had a Florence Pugh in her family.
Yeah.
And not only that, but this other Florence Pugh, the first Florence Pugh, had these pretty severe, like, cardiorespiratory issues when she was really young, when she was between 2 and 4 years old. When Florence was very young, and she shared this in the episode, so I'm not speaking out of turn, she had those exact same symptoms, and her parents left London to go to Spain so she could have better air quality, so that she could heal and feel better. So it's like...
And also, she reveals that she didn't know if she was going to make it. Like, her family were told by doctors, and then there was another Florence Pugh in her family, and then there was another member of her family, Alice, who goes on to become an extraordinary chef. And maybe that is the matriculation.
And she loves to cook. It's like, it all makes sense when you do it deep down, right?
And you can learn so much about someone through food. It is the most, it's the way I love to learn about people through food. So what are we going to learn today?
If that's not a beautiful segue.
This is my favorite dish, my favorite soup of all time. This is the first dish I watched my nonni make.
Really?
Tortellini and Brodo.
So how appropriate is it
so excited
that a Polish-Canadian guy is showing you how to make tortellini and Brodo? But here we are. Stranger things have happened. So
and this one has to do with Justin Theroux.
Yes.
Is this in his episode?
So in his episode, we ask every person on the show sort of like, what's your Proust's Madeleine, like that dish from childhood that you remember that either an auntie or a grandma or someone made that's cherished. It could have been a special occasion or a weeknight dinner.
Go, baby.
There you go. I'm sure there's a lot to unpack there.
My mom made the best tuna noodle casserole.
There you go.
There you go.
And for Justin, it was his grandma Anne, whose father emigrated from Italy as a tailor, and he brought tortellini and Brodo. So we did this whole search throughout Emilia-Romagna to figure out the provenance and the history of tortellini and Brodo, and it's like, I cry every time I watch the clip. So, okay. So to start out, we have a pork loin, garlic clove, prosciutto di Parma, mortadella.
This is going to be the filling.
This is the filling for the tortellini and Parmesan. So we're just going to go ahead and plop that in.
I want to learn exactly kind of how you handle the meats.
Yeah.
The mortadella is
It's all about handling the meat.
I said it.
Food processors are powerful, but I like to just kind of like tear it up.
Now, this is interesting because my nonni and my Aunt Adeline would make it with a pork chop and with a steak and with a burger.
Okay, well, here's the where are they from exactly in Italy? Do you know?
Well, from San Remo and Lanzo Torinese.
Okay, so what I learned in Italy, Justin thought his ancestor was from a place called Piacenza. And when we ended up there, we meet this chef and we're like, we're here to try tortellini and Brodo. And he looked like he got so passionate and angry. He's like, we do not have tortellini and Brodo here. You can tell more about someone's genetic makeup by the type of pasta that they ate growing up than an actual ancestry test.
Wow.
And so you go on this journey, which we ended up in Cento, where all of these elements, they're known for their mortadella, for their prosciutto, for their Parmigiano Reggiano, and those are the elements that are showcased in this dish.
Beautiful.
And then we pulse.
Now, I turned my broccoli soup basically into foam last night because I over-blended it, and I was so mad at myself. I saw that you just barely pulsed that.
I pulsed it. I want to go a little more than this, but it's going to turn eventually into a paste that's kind of like this.
Okay.
And then...
But I'm assuming, unlike me, you don't want to overdo it.
You don't want to overwork it.
Okay, that's all
I like to have a little bit of texture, but actually when they made it with just the 3 elements, it was just it tasted like a pâté. Like it just kind of melts on your tongue.
Okay.
So it could be really delicate. Okay, so
now we're going to make our little...
So now we're going to make our little tortellini. So I like to dab a little bit of water if the pasta tends to dry out a little bit, and you put a tiny little amount. I pinch it so that it looks like a cannoli.
You
and then
do it like, yeah.
And then
I put way too much in. Sorry.
Purse it out.
That's okay. And then
you make it like, you want to make it like a little hat.
Yes, that's what the Nona told us. That you have to fold it back. And it's a very forgiving dough.
It's so easy to do. You saw how quickly you can do that.
Well, as they continue to fill the tortellinis, we're going to go to a quick break. And then when we come back, we get to manja.
Manja.